Good morning, boys and girls. This beautiful creature standing in front of you right now is my oldest son, Joe Lockard, the founder and president of MaxSafe Consulting, also the director of operations of AutoMax Recruiting and Training. We are here at the studios of All Systems Go AV. Down the hallway there, you see our friend, colleague, perhaps partner, perhaps client, perhaps best friend, Troy Spring from Dealer World. He's going to be on the podcast. We have Dave in a porn stash, COVID porn stash.
The porn stash and the camera around. You got to be careful.
All right. So what's going to go on here, guys, just so everybody knows, we're going to do a relatively quick demo of PermaSafe, the world's best EPA Registered sanitizer, disinfectant, mold reducer killer.
Here, let me jump in.
So on and so forth. Go ahead, Joe.
We got to get this done. We got a whole studio to do here. So we're going to start with the step one. Step one is PermaSafe CLEAN. This is the actual disinfectant. So I'll get into step two in a second. So this is what actually will kill the germs, bacteria, viruses, etc. This is a hospital-grade disinfectant, which is the highest grading, if you will, that the EPA gives out. Everything that I'm going to talk about, everything I'm going to say, everything on the label, this is all registered with the EPA, all backed by the EPA. So this will kill, again, all germs, viruses, bacteria with 99.999% certainty. That number itself is registered with the EPA. That's not just a fancy marketing number thrown out there.
Right. What's called a 5-log kill, which is very important.
5-log kill, again, very hard to get with EPA. So all that is to say, this is a very strong disinfectant. It's on the EPA's what they call List N as approved to treat SARS-CoV-2, which is the name of the actual virus that causes COVID-19. Most people don't know that. So we are on the N list. You could look us up with our EPA registration number. It's on there. So having said all that and established that it is a very strong disinfectant, what really sets it apart is that it is completely safe. It is water-based. It's non-toxic, it's non-hazardous, it's non-corrosive.
No ethanol.
You can see me, I don't have gloves on, I don't have goggles on, I don't have a respirator on, I don't have anything on.
Yeah, no hazmat suit needed.
Right, completely safe for human touch. And then, of course, we're in a very fancy studio with some very expensive equipment and, of course, very comfortable applying the proprietary. So I'm going to jump right in here. Pretty standard Ryobi fogger right here. This will shoot it out. It has to be, the product for a facility application, different than a vehicle application,
right,
has to be applied with a cold, high pressure, low volume fogger. So, don't go out there.
That's for buildings, for facility use.
Yep. Okay. Homes, facilities, etc. So don't go out there and grab a bug fogger or one of those propane ones. Can't be a heated fogger. Also has to be ultra low volume. Obviously, it is still water-based, so part of what makes it safe for the different electronics, whether it be in a car or in a building, is the fact that it's coming out as a true frog. So it's coming out at about 30 to 50 microns. I'm going to jump in on step one here. Mr. Troy Spring was kind enough to supply us with today. A gallon will get you about 5,000 square feet of coverage. Doesn't count tables, chairs, etc. So you got to kind of ballpark it. These fill about a half gallon, so you're going to get about half that out of one charge of this. We're not going to use that much in here. I want to make sure I get it in the HVAC system as well. I'm going to get it in the intake vent up there.
Yeah, real important, guys.
Absolutely. That'll allow it to circulate throughout the HVAC system and through the air, kill anything nasty that's hanging out in the ducts.
In your dealership, that HVAC system, whether it be a dealership, we're doing yoga salons, we're doing beauty salons, we're doing all kinds of facilities. The HVAC is crazy important. And even if you're putting it in the car, the HVAC is very important as well, turning the air on, turning the heat on, and having it circulate through the car that way and through the HVAC of the automobile.
So I'm gonna let it rip. This is gonna be really loud.
It's really loud, guys.
You won't be able to really hear me. I'm just gonna kind of keep
Right.
it quiet. Do a nice mist, fog. You know, get walls, high touch points. I'm gonna go
The
into
studio.
where we're gonna shoot a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let it rip. As you can see, it's a fog. Covers a lot of area. I'm actually getting it in my face right now. And that's literally how safe it is. Literally. The stuff that you guys see that's being applied with masks, goggles, and hazmat suits at car dealerships is very concerning and should be avoided. This is the safe way to do it, to keep your employees safe, your customers safe. Do HVAC. Another important point, this does not have to be wiped off, wiped down. It goes on wet, can stay that way, and it just dries. Then the cafeteria. That's right, John. No wiping. It just dries. It's like this is like a legit no-brainer, dealers. And really anybody. Like I said, nail salons, beauty salons, literally anything. Arenas. Hi, everybody, by the way. Joe, real quick, our buddy Ethan Rawson says, how many times should this be done?
My Ryobi's giving.
Yeah, hotels for sure,
Ryobi's
Anthony.
giving me all kinds of beef here. All right, so that's a good question. Step one is the disinfectant. Like I said, we haven't even got to step two yet. I didn't discuss step two. Step one is a kill-on contact disinfectant. You know, it various kill times for different surfaces, different microorganisms. Once that surface is clean, you know, it's really up to you. I would say if someone's in a gym, a casino, a restaurant, something like that,
right.
As far as the disinfectant, I'm going to want to be doing it every day. It's going to be at the end of every day.
Right.
Right now, you know.
Right.
And there's
now, right.
a concern right now that wasn't there before.
Right.
We'll get into step two that provides some ongoing protection and antimicrobial protection against different microorganisms. That is something that you could do every 2 months,
right.
every 3 months.
Right.
And again, a lot of it is just who you're serving, what
right.
you're looking to accomplish.
Right.
You know, obviously, there's no such thing as a spray vaccine, you know?
Right.
You can't be responsible
yeah.
for human contact and things that
happen. You and I would not be here having this conversation right now if that was the fact. We would own an island.
Sure, this is not a fogger vaccine.
Right.
It's so, at the moment that it touches everything, though, like I said, given the appropriate amount of time for the kill to take effect, it will disinfect at that point. And then, of course, if you're in a doctor's office or something like that, an ambulance, you would obviously want to do more frequently.
Right. Those of you that are watching, be aware that after we do this demo, the podcast is actually going to start. That's right. Spray Troy. Troy definitely needs disinfected. His wife said so. Troy needs disinfected and sanitized, Brittany said. Did you do the actual studio yet?
No, let's go in there.
Okay.
I get this back spit here at the end. Look at this.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm gonna wipe that down.
Huh.
My aerobi's fizzing out at the end and doing all that.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever have extra pullage like this, get that real quick. The aerobi spits out at the end. This is actually the first time I've used this thing.
Yeah.
You just wipe it down. It's fine.
Got it. Okay. Guys, the actual podcast with Troy, Joe, and I will start pretty much immediately following this demonstration. Again, I want to express to dealers, managers, whoever's watching this or watch it on the replay and so forth, you need to at least call about this. One of the things that I'd like to, the last podcast that we did from here, I did with the Jay Leiter, the president of PermaSafe, whose product this is. And one of the things that he really honed in on was whatever product that you're currently using, and there's some very inexpensive, I'm going to use the word cheap products being sold to dealers. Check the master label that comes with the box. If it has skull and crossbones on it, that means it's poison. That means it's toxic. That means you're potentially liable for employees getting sick and or it affecting customers in a negative way. So even though you think you're doing something right and good for the community and your employees, you're actually hurting them. If whatever you're using right now takes a hazmat suit, a mask, gloves, so on and so forth, dudes, you're using the wrong product. It's not a lot more complicated than that. Joe, you want to talk about step 2?
Let me get the studio first.
Got it.
Grab the glasses.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
All right, I'm just going to stand back here.
All right, we're just going to do the studio. Come on, Fogger. There we go. This is safe for all electronics. So if you're doing cars, which this is originally meant for, you can just let it rip right in the car. Trunk, interior, electronics, everything. Doesn't affect anything. We got some pretty heavy-duty electronics in here.
Spit, stop.
Amazingly enough, I bought all this stuff. This is an exact carbon copy of Joe Rogan, the JRE experience, the headphones, the microphones, the arms, everything. Just spent a couple grand on this. And then we had to close the studio down. So.
We got new stuff? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is legit Joe Rogan. It's the identical stuff. Yeah, you paid $2,000 for that, son. I just want to let you know.
All right.
These cheap bastards wouldn't go for the money, so.
We got all this stuff.
Yeah, that's all they need. They only care about themselves here at All Systems Go AV. That's not true. These are the most awesome people in the world. You guys need a podcast studio. You guys need video work. All Systems Go AV. Like, no baloney. I could not recommend them anymore. They are professionals. They're fair. They're terrific human beings. Car dealers. You have an account. Who do you do up in what's called Doylestown? What's the name of that group you do? Dealer group.
The car dealer?
Yeah. Yeah, I caught you off guard. Sorry about that. But they do a big group up in Doylestown. They do their video. Their video, man, is like watching a movie. It's legit top notch, no kidding. And what they do here in the podcast studio, whether you're doing a video podcast like we do, or you can do audio podcasts, they can handle it, and they are great at it.
All right, so I'm going to talk about step 2. I won't bore you with watching me lay down step 2. Step 2 is pretty fancy. Look, this is a phenomenal disinfectant for all the reasons that I discussed and just showed. Step 2 really sets the PermaSafe system apart.
That's right.
Step 2 is PermaSafe Shield. So I'll get a little fancy here. Step 2 is going to create an actual molecular bond with whatever surface it is applied to that turns that surface itself into an antimicrobial.
So it's a new surface, basically.
Correct. It's not a coating or a film or anything like that you can see or feel. This is on a molecular level.
Right. And that's on a hard surface.
Yes, this is for any surface that it's applied to. So another thing that kind of separates both the disinfectant and the step 2 is a lot of the other products out there, you'll get out their EPA registration label or look at their safety disclosure statement, and all the claims are for hard, non-porous surfaces. Well, our product was created specifically for the automotive industry, so obviously there's a lot of porous surfaces within the vehicle.
Right.
So both of these are formulated specifically for porous materials. So no, it's any surface that it's applied to. We'll turn it into an actual antimicrobial. So now it will attract germs, bacteria, etc., ongoing, perpetually.
Right.
The only thing that breaks down that bond is wearing down the surface itself. So, high touch points in a vehicle, a steering wheel, gear shift, those will wear down over time, and that's why high traffic areas in a building, doorknobs, etc.
Right.
So when Ethan talked about how often for reapplication, the step 2 products, I usually tell people every 3 months or so, probably once a month even.
Yeah.
This is a huge one. You mentioned hair salons. This is huge for them. A lot of nasty chemicals get in the air, get in the air ducts.
Physical therapist office, yoga, gyms.
Absolutely. So again, outside of just what is currently going on, this is a product that a lot of those places probably should have already been using. But goes on the exact same way. Like I said, I don't want to film doing the same thing twice. It's going to be the same thing. You don't mix it with the step 1. You could. It's not like it would do anything, but kind of defeats the whole purpose. So the step 1 is disinfected everything. You're kind of starting with a clean slate. Everything's killed that's on there with that 99.999% certainty. Then we're going to apply the shield for the ongoing protection, and we're good. Everything's all set.
Your wifey's watching, by the way.
Oh, exciting.
Hi, Christina. How are you, my daughter? Love you, honey. Miss you a lot. So when Jay was in here, the way he explained it to me, which was very, very interesting, is I had a bottle of Lysol in there or whatever, and it was 99.9. He said, so take an 8-inch square right in front of you. And let's say there's 1 million particles of bacteria, so on and so forth, sitting there. And how would the math break down?
It goes from 1,000 left to 10 left.
Right. And he got it down to 1.
Out 2 decimal points.
2 decimal points. So it goes down to 10?
Yeah.
Instead of 1 million.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, so you start at 1 million. So
right.
Lysol, which is, in everyone's head,
right.
It's been around forever, a gold standard.
Right.
Clorox
same thing, right.
Clorox might go out 2 decimal points. I'd have to look at it.
I think it does.
Yeah, even then you're talking about the difference. You feel better knowing that there's 100 germs and bacteria.
Right, or 1,000.
Or 10.
10? Yeah, right.
So, and viral load's a big part of this.
Hey, Joanna.
I've tried to follow some pretty intelligent people over the past couple months on social media. The head of health, I forget what his claim is. He went to school with my wife. And he talks a lot about viral load, where it's not just a matter of, I touched this and someone else touched it, or someone sneezed near me. There has to be a specific amount of load. So anything that's going to reduce that number is going to reduce the risk of you. Again, it's not just about COVID, getting the flu, getting strep, I got 3 kids, I'm sick of getting sick.
Right. This goes beyond COVID.
Sure.
I mean, this is not when COVID's quote unquote over, which literally will never happen. This is forever. This is mold, mildew, the whole shooting match. I mean, it's like literally everything.
Sure, I'm big for basements. I'm going to be treating my basement and the joists. Basements get that basement smell. Everyone talks about smells.
Right, man. I want it downstairs in my place bad.
Yeah, odors is another one. So that's where, again, this company's been around for 3 years. This isn't someone that just hopped on the train and took advantage of the COVID situation.
Right.
This was created specifically for the automotive industry by Jay Leiter. He's a car guy himself. It's his second venture into the space. The reason odors are present in a car or in a home is because of microorganisms. It doesn't just smell. And everyone wants to say it smells like basement smell. It's like, no, that's mold and mildew. That's live bacteria in your home or in the car for that matter.
Yeah.
Smells in the car, cigarette odors, you know, anything that you can do to kill those microorganisms that are, you know, rooted in the HVAC system, in the upholstery floorboards.
Hey, John, just to talk about your point, this is extremely difficult to achieve, being able to apply to both porous and non-porous with exclamation parts. That's not true. It's not difficult to achieve at all. So, I mean, it just does. So.
Yeah, I mean, again, so this is all per the EPA. So like I said, I'm not sitting up here just talking about it. They're very, very specific.
Yeah, you can't say, with this shit, you can't say what's not right.
If you were to ever look at the EPA registration for any product like this, it's sheet after sheet after sheet of approved claims. That's what they monitor. They run tons of independent testing and say, okay, here's what you can say.
And it changes. You got to stay up to date with that. You just can't, it's not like one and then 15 years later it's still cool. Let me say hello to some people real quick here, and thanks for watching. Jody Atkins, the world's greatest controller, AutoMax Recruiting and Training, Michael D. Philippus, otherwise known as Uncle Mike, Emma Johnson, David's much better half, Miss Joanna Weber, one of my best friends in the world, my assistant, and I don't know how I'd live my life without you, frankly, with everything that you do, Robert Stevens, otherwise known as Bobby, John Huey, AutoMax Recruiter Trainer, my daughter by luck, Christina Marie, John Tracy, longtime AutoMax Recruiter and Trainer, our partner, Ernie Kasprowitz, the Mentor for Life, Anthony Santangelo, Bill Schoenberg was on the show before, Ethan Rawson, Andy Buck, AutoMax Recruiter and Trainer, Jane Schuster, longtime AutoMax employee, Marty Coates. I haven't seen Marty in years. Last I saw him was at the Unfair Advantage down in Charlotte. Man, if you guys get a chance to hook up with Marty Coates, he's a great follow, good writer. Trisha Boucher, welcome back to AutoMax. No longer on furlough. Yay. Brad Smith, thanks for watching. Ethan, Brian Stroka, Shelly Buck, Andy Buck's way better half. We're going to actually wrap up here right now. We're going to be back literally in, what are we thinking, Producer Dave? 5 minutes? 8 minutes?
Oh, we're actually going live and we'll come right back?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to go live with the actual podcast, Changing State of America. We have a lot of interesting stuff we're going to talk about. We're going to go live with Troy, Joe and I about some different stuff, and then Joe and I are going to finish it up after that. So,
I'm going to the bathroom. You guys can't come with me.
You can't go in the bathroom? Come here. Okay, can't go with Joe in the bathroom. So, hang in there. Hey, Andrew McIver, good to see you, man. I'm really glad to hear, or I saw the video on your dog Rocky yesterday. I've been following that a little bit. I didn't tell you, Dixie just had some more major surgery, my dog. She had a big infected cyst cut out of her chest. My vet told me that she's had over 1,000 staples and stitches in the last 4 years. So I feel for you, pal. That Rottweiler you have, he's a sweet, sweet, sweet boy, and I hope, sounds like we're perma-saving the bathroom. I hope things work out well for him, Andrew, for sure. So hang in there, guys. We'll be going back live here in a little bit. Peace.